the ocean brings the best people together. It's just something about her that, people that love the ocean, are just, they have an inner sense of self and an inner self of nature's importance that, just is a great match. She's a great she's a great matchmaker. What can I say?
We collect this plastic from a company that's sources this ocean plastics out of Mexico and Haiti. I took the time and effort to go down there and check out the operations, which is really cool. But a lot of the feedback I've gotten was, well, why are you collecting trash from these other countries? Why is that? I live in New Jersey. Like, that doesn't affect me. We don't want their trash. And my message to them, which is the truth as far as facts is concerned, is anything that's going into that ocean is ultimately circulating. And, with the Atlantic current, a lot of what's getting dumped down there is going to end up obviously along our shorelines.
One of the really cool things about the ocean is you could step off the ocean anywhere and go anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
It's connected. It is really it's only one ocean. It's all connected, and it's really the birthplace of life. So, we are all dependent upon it.
What is Clean Ocean Action?
Clean Ocean Action is a broad-based coalition of organizations that work together to improve and protect the waters off the New York and New Jersey coasts. It includes, traditional fish hugger groups, as you can imagine, and boaters and divers and fishermen, and even garden clubs and chambers of commerce and realty organizations that are concerned with the economic value of the ocean.
What I love about your organization and what you guys are doing is, I'm able to contribute and help with what's happening down there specifically, but you're happening where I live. You're helping to clean up my Jersey Shore.
Over the years, the 36 years we've been around, many of the policies that we've developed have become national policies, where we were sort of the first ones out there beating the drum or coming up with the ideas. And an example of that is I came up with an idea of getting a law passed which would prohibit any kind of infrastructure, pipelines, or any kind of construction within state waters. We have very little control of what can happen in federal waters, but we have a great deal of control of what can happen in state waters.
When did you start that process, and then when did it pass?
We came up with the idea, we had it introduced, and we drafted it, we shared it with our elected officials, we got a couple to embrace it, and I think within 3 months, it was passed by the state legislature, and the governor signed. It was one of the first bills that Governor Murphy signed into law when he became governor. New Jersey has been a tireless voice in protecting the ocean, and that's in large part because of Clean Ocean Action, because we keep holding our elected officials to high standards when it comes to defending the ocean, because not only is it such an important an important source of solace and family and fun and joy, but it's a huge economic engine to the state.
That's interesting. And thank you, by the way, because you always, I know that, every summer, you turn on the news and inevitably you hear about a beach being shut down or the pollution levels being too high, which is, again, in 2020, you wouldn't think that would be happening.
We still have our problems, but it's so much better than in the late 80s and early 90s, when literally we had 800 beach closures every summer just in Monmouth County.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've come a long way, but we still have our problems. Yeah, we still have those wacky instances, but it used to be very common to have garbage wash-ups, medical waste wash-ups, raw sewage wash-ups. We still have a long ways to go, and the problems have now shifted to where it's really that plastic pollution and climate change that are our oceans driving threats right now.
Tell me a little bit about how people can get involved, because one of the big things, if you go on your website or you go on your social feeds, you see the beach sweeps, right? I feel like that's a little bit of the low-hanging fruit where a group can get involved, or even a person get involved and help out in the effort.
We have lots of volunteer activities for people to engage in, but one of our signature events is the beach sweeps. And actually this year is our 35th annual beach sweeps, and it's like no other we've ever had because of course we can't all convene and flock to the ocean to give it a good clean sweep because of the coronavirus. But we are in spirit all united, and it started back in 1985 with 75 people at Sandy Hook, and with the passion of just really wanting to clean up the plastics. But we didn't want to just clean up the beach and remove the trash. We wanted to collect the data, collect and tabulate the actual items that we were finding so that we could drive public policies to reduce those sources. So the beach sweep happens twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall, to get a snapshot of what is actually floating up on our beaches, so that then we can use that data as evidence to drive public policies, as I said. And for example, there are now over 50 municipalities that have passed laws restricting or limiting plastic bags, straws, styrofoam containers, all using the beach sweep data. And Governor Murphy signed into law a bill that prohibits smoking on all public beaches using the beach sweep data. So while it's very tedious to take each item and put it down in the data card, it really creates a legacy of information that we're able to use. And what is astonishing, not astonishing to me, but is very heartwarming to me is year after year, the thousands and thousands of people that come out to participate, to give back to the ocean and do their part to help improve and protect the ocean. That brings them so much joy.
That's very cool. I never put the two and two together. So taking the trash essentially and documenting it and being able to say to a Governor Murphy, rather than, hey, cigarette butts are polluting our oceans, it's like, this is data. This is real numbers, and
Right.
It's hard to shy away from that conversation when you have the evidence. Where exactly are you typically targeting as far as beaches?
We usually have over 60 sites in every spring and every fall.
Oh,
And
wow.
they're located from Perth Amboy all the way down to Cape May and around the bend into the Delaware Bay and River area. So there's a beach cleanup near you,
Cool.
and we hope to see people out again on October 24th. That's when the fall cleanup will be happening. So yeah, we're hopeful that we'll be able to get back out there again. About a week ago, we just released the data from 2019, which was a record year. We had a record number of volunteers, and we also collected a record number of items. We collected almost 500,000 items off the beach.
Wow.
Those 2 days. So it's really extraordinary, and it's interesting to see what we're finding. Of course, we're finding bottle caps and plastic pieces, but we also put out the Dirty Dozen, which is the top 12 items that we find.
Wow.
And we released something called the Roster of the Ridiculous, which is all the wacky stuff that we find.
I'm sure you certainly have found some.
Yeah,
So
the best one of all was last year somebody found a diamond ring, a $6,000 diamond
No,
ring.
really?
Yeah, that somebody had lost on the beach, and a volunteer found it, and she did some great detective work. She found the jeweler that it belonged to, and then that jeweler was able to bring it back to the owner.
It's just amazing to think there's organizations like yours that that are out there that people don't even know they're benefiting from.
I think some people do think, oh, well, the ocean's clean. I don't have to worry about it. It's all clean. It's ready to go. And they don't know what it takes, the vigilance and the effort on the part of, the Clean Ocean Actions team here that we have. We have an attorney on staff. We have a PhD scientist on staff.
Wow.
So it does take a lot of hard work, and but it's great to have friends like you out there and sharing the news and sharing the importance of people understanding that a clean and healthy ocean isn't a guarantee.
With the current COVID virus and the situation that is presenting in the hospitals and health industry, you're having a lot of single-use plastic, which I feel like there's been a buildup over the last 3 or 4 years to ditch the single-use mindset. And now, what they're saying is we need more of this single-use plastic, including, your gloves, and your masks. So how do you combat that conversation that's happening that's ultimately helping these first responders or these medical professionals? But also, as you see, I'm sure in your own neighborhoods or on your own streets or parking lots, a glove that was taken off and thrown on the ground.
It's an interesting point, and who would have ever thought in these challenging and unprecedented times. But of course, first and foremost, our first responders and those those critical workers that are out there that are putting themselves at risk need the best protection that they can get. It's proper management of those materials after use that becomes a critical point. And that leads to, more of sort of the general public's use of these items. We also need to be protected and think about public health. And while we may be using more single-use items, there's no excuse for littering them on the ground. Right. It's all about, in this instance, it's about being, properly dealing with these materials in a responsible and legal way. Littering is illegal.
Yeah, and I hope it's a lot of this is more so mistakes from people than just throwing it on the ground.
For public health, there's a lot of guidance out there. Go to the CDC websites and go to the state and local websites that give you direction. I mean, there are reusable masks that can be used for people that aren't at the front lines, and allow for the higher grade and disposable items for the first responders and things. But for the uninfected casual user, I mean, there are reusable ones that people can use or they can make. So it's there are ways to reduce the amount of waste that we are generating by being again thoughtful and compliant with the regulations and guidance that's coming out from public health departments.
How can LowTides help Clean Ocean?
Well, you're helping right now by helping to share our story and by, you're supporting and recognizing the value of Clean Ocean Action. So thank you. That's a big start. But also, you have a great and expanding group of fans out there and customers and clients. And so, sharing the opportunity with them, offering when and they feel appropriate, if they'd like to make a donation to the organization, that's obviously, incredibly helpful to perhaps think about Clean Ocean Action and sharing your support, your hours, your dollars, whatever you're comfortable with, but also sharing our story and following us on Facebook and social media. And our website, and staying involved.
You do a phenomenal job, and certainly thank you personally for somebody that has gone down the shore for as many years as we do, and I do, and my little girls. We're lucky to have organizations like yourselves.